All right, greetings everyone. Welcome to week 9 of the work-based learning program. I hope the past week was good for you all, and yeah, you were able to get some rest as well as catching up on some of the assignments. The prompts that were assigned from section 2 are inside of the curriculum document, in addition to the assignments from section 1, which are further up. So section 3, we're going to be talking about goals, implementations, and timelines. The intention is to support you all with setting SMART goals, creating and implementing a system to review and refine those goals. So yeah, I'll just jump into it, starting with the Youth Impact Hub Fellowship Binder from 2018. This one breaks down what SMART goals are. And I think when we get through this, you'll understand why we're suggesting that any goals that are created by you all are done in this SMART goal format. And then, S, M, A, R, and T all refer to different, they're acronyms for different things. So the S is for specific. And you want to be asking yourself, is the goal detailed enough that someone who isn't part of the team would know what needs to be done and how? And so some of the things you can be asking yourself in addition are what, in terms of what do we want to accomplish, why, and the specific reasons, purpose, or benefits of accomplishing that goal, who, as in who is involved, where, identifying the location, which, if you're asking yourself which, that might be identifying the requirements and constraints. So once you're getting specific and you're doing a lot by, in this S part, by, going through the what, why, who, where, which. So after you get to this specific part of creating your SMART goals, you want to get into the measurable part. And the main question you're going to be asking yourself is there a clear way to measure success, and how will we know the goal has been reached? And so you might want to ask, like, how much, how many, how will I know it's accomplished? For Repaired Nations, which is primarily focused on education and technical assistance, a metric of success may be, educating 50 people by the end of the year, or it could be supporting 5 co-ops in Q3. Whatever it is, like that's an example of measurable. Attainable. You want to ask yourself, and this is like I guess a reality check, just making sure you're asking yourself, is the goal realistic? And whether you can achieve it with the resources, time, money, what have you, that are available to you at the moment. When you're getting into the R, you're asking yourself about relevancy, and is the goal creating a community value? What is the importance of what you're doing? So some questions, like also reality check, like, does this seem worthwhile? Is this the right time? Does this match our community efforts or needs? Are we the right people? Are we the right group? Is it applicable to the environments that we're in, either economic, social, whatever, ecological? The last thing you want to ask yourself is regarding timeliness, and when will the goal be accomplished? And so, maybe it's today, maybe it's 6 weeks from now, 6 months from now. And in this section as well, you may also realize that there are like sub goals to like your overarching goal. So just to give an example of a SMART goal, I'll just, pull something out of the air that's not confirmed yet, but, that I would love to see happen. Let's say a SMART goal for Repaired Nations is to secure a mixed-use building to house like cooperators in our ecosystem by the end, or by mid 2020. we, let's see, that's getting into timeliness. It's specific, but I can talk more about who is involved. So talks about, okay, so let me rework this. By the middle of 2020, Repaired Nations will be working with Wakanda and other real estate related partners to secure a mixed use location for the benefit of, or for the purpose of housing cooperators in our network and making sure that we can continue building our cooperative ecosystem and network. We'll know that we've reached success because the building will be purchased and we'll be bringing folks in. The goal will be accomplished by continuing to support the group, the core group of Wakanda. And it's realistic because that group has been working at it for almost 2 years now. Definitely relevant given the context of the Bay Area and the constant outflow of people to places that have that they're able to secure housing in. And I spoke to the time. Okay. So there's an example for creating a SMART goal. And how you note these SMART goals down and continue like working at them. It's kind of up to you in terms of preference, what you'd like to do. I'm gonna go over a couple of techniques that you can move through to start implementing your SMART goals, putting them on paper, either physical or digital, and returning back and reviewing them. Unfortunately, my camera isn't working today, so I'm not sure I'll be able to share what's going on with the notebook at the moment, but I can describe it I'll just describe it quickly. And if my camera works tomorrow, I will show it. So the technique that I currently use for keeping track of SMART goals is, I guess it's a mixture of two techniques. The first was suggested by a career coach. And he suggested that at the beginning of each day, or either each day or each week, I take time to brainstorm the things that I'd like to get done in that period. And so, it's not quite like specific or timely in that, the exact time it's going to happen isn't there, but it does give me a list of things and help prime my brain for what I know is going to happen. And there's usually a second step to that. The way that I do it is I'll kind of draw a line down maybe a third of the page. So that 2/3 of the page is for the brainstorming. I also put them in categories. So right now it's like brainstorming stuff for personal, for Repaired Nations, for Wakanda, for the Sustainable Economies Law Center. And then for the other projects I'm supporting, like Black Cultural Zone or Cooperation. And then immediately to the right of that are the days of the week. And I can, take things out of the, move things over from brainstorm into that weekly section. So either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what have you. And then that helps me, keep track of what I'd like to do. And it also allows for me to check it off. So I can, I review it like every day really and see like, okay, what did I say I was going to do this week? And I, it gives a little bit of serotonin being able to check things off. So if any of y'all want like more information or help with setting up one of those, like that specific notebook technique, I could send pictures of what have you. The other, another technique that you can use is like a project management software. Asana or asana is a very popular thing, and a lot of organizations that I know use it. And so how Asana works is that you have basically a task list. You can also have headers and put tasks underneath of those so that you can be aware of everything. Um, and in addition to these, like, you can have more than one task list. So you can see the cooperative circle is here, we're in its task list, but there's many other tasks lists that I can go into. When you're clicking on a specific task, there's a place to put like who's responsible, when is it due. Uh, there's like even more granularity if you want to get there. You can put the description for like what you're expecting for this to do. And so this is all about like a think outside the box cooperative workshop training that Repaired Nations helped to put on pre-pandemic. And you can see that in here there are subtasks. So it's kind of like, you can dive infinitely deep in it because each task can have subtasks, which can have subtasks. But yeah, here's a way to note all of the things that you'd like to get done. You can put dates on them so you know when it's supposed to happen. You can mark things off like I've done for some of these things to keep track of what's been done. And you can also, assign other people, have conversations with your collaborators. This is, all of these techniques require the practice of doing them over and over again. So if you are able to get into the habit of it, along with your teammates, it can be, something that's. I tend not to use Asana that much. I tend to use a mixture of my notebook and calendars. So you can see an example of a calendar from 2020. And there's a mixture of techniques going in here. So it's both housing, how do I say, like meetings that are happening just generally. There are also like work blocks in here, like both general work blocks as like is here on Monday. It's just saying like, yeah, hold this time because I need to do stuff, or I need to do stuff. Or maybe it's a work block where you and someone else are meeting. Um, so how this works in tandem with my notebook is that I know by my notebook like the tasks that I want to get done, and when I want to get them done outside of the meetings. Um, there are meetings in here. You can also have like different sets of meetings, so they can be color coded, and you can understand which ones are which ones you're going to, or which ones are part of different things. And so like at this time I was part of EP-Prec, and so there are some meetings that pop up in here that wouldn't have been in my calendar if I didn't pull this up. And you can also see other people's calendars if you choose. So yeah, like with calendaring, it's helpful if you're able to color code it a little bit so you can identify by first glance which are meetings with other people, which are places where you're reserving time to work so no one else will intrude on that, and otherwise. So yes, I would suggest that whether you're using, well, I would suggest using some kind of calendar in addition to whatever project management, task management system you're using as you're moving towards your goals. And so rather than like Asana and Google Calendar, I use a notebook and Google Calendar. The calendar is primarily for like showing when I have meetings, but I also use it to hold space if I know that I need to work on something. But that stuff can be found in my notebook, the specific things I need to work on. The last technique that I'll go over for how you can set goals and move towards them, implementation, is this Gantt chart. that you can see on the screen right now. And so this chart was created last year to support the Wakanda project that I mentioned earlier, towards getting the different things done that we needed to get done. And because this project has a lot of complexity and many different like streams of things, we attempted to use this Gantt chart to show, what things we would be holding concurrent. And so you could see that in the beginning of the year, for visioning, we were creating the project charter, which talks about what we're going to be doing. We were doing site visits in one work stream. In another work stream, simultaneously, we were engaging our broker, doing purchase contracts, pro forma projections. And in another stream, we were doing member campaigns for money. And so this is helpful in the sense that, it gives the team and others like a visual look on like high level, what are the goals that have been set? What are the different like work streams or work groups that are happening? And how are all of those things like moving in tandem to get towards that ultimate goal? In this case, purchasing a mixed use building. So I'll open it up for questions if anyone has anything, or if there's any like comments folks want to throw in. We'll be going through timelines and implementation more tomorrow. We'll be having with selections from Think and Grow Rich, which is talking about like that practice element that I was talking about. And we'll likely have a mix of like goal setting practices and reading selections on Thursday as well. But any comments or questions before we wrap up for today with the goals, implementations, timelines? Okay, understood. I know we're still getting back into the groove, waking up at 8. I think I'll leave us with, I guess, a recognition that time management is crucial for, sovereign people, those who are seeking to create for themselves, create sustainability for themselves and others. Yeah, in some ways, like people are what we got and what we need to like work with to create this paradigm shift that we need. And each person has to do their part in terms of task management, accountability, goal setting, goal implementation, so that we can all rely on each other as we're moving towards that ultimate goal of liberation, and doing our specific parts to get us there. So there are no homework prompts today. I do encourage you all to look into some of the things shared today so that you can continue building that muscle of self-management, self-accountability. Thanks for coming in today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, y'all.